How can I start my own construction company? In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the general steps, how we went through it at Elevate and Lean Build, and some things that you can take away to really get started, because it can seem kind of intimidating, but we're going to help you right now, so stay with us. I'm super excited about this video, by the way. So I did a video on how to get your contractor's license, which we just did, and start a construction company, which we just did. So these two things are fresh on my mind, and I'm excited about doing this video, and I really want to encourage you to reach out if you ever need anything, need any help. We also have a podcast series on how to actually start the business side of this entire endeavor and not just the specifics and the logistics of it. So let's go through these one by one. If you're thinking about starting a construction company, first get experience. I know that there are people out there that go directly from college or just out of nowhere start a construction company and they don't know what they're doing. I strongly disagree with this. I do believe that you need some experience. You need to know what you're doing. You need to have a trade. You need to have that experience. So if you're thinking about starting a construction company, start right now and get the experience. Second, find your why. Businesses really don't do well. This comes from observation and studies when it's just about the money. What are you attempting to do? Do you love building? Do you want to continue the family legacy? I once heard somebody say, I want a company where family and friends can work that's really successful. Some people want to change the industry. We want to showcase lean. What is your why? That why is going to get you through most of the hard times as you start this, because it is not easy to start a construction company, especially the sales and marketing part. 3, know what you're doing from a planning and systems and training standpoint. One of the best things that I've ever done is start this. This is not bragging, this is just happenstance almost, but starting and knowing the systems that we're going to use. We're going to use the first planner system for planning, the TAC production system for planning and scheduling, and the last planner system for running flow on the project on a continual basis, okay? So I knew what systems. The other thing is you have to understand this paradigm that your ability to complete a project successfully comes down to your ability to plan that project properly and start it out right. The other thing that I want to say is that you have to be willing to train your people. Do not just go throw people out there and feed them to the wolves. Do not just hire from the industry. Very few people hired from the industry actually know what they're doing. You've got to look at internal training. That's why I also say you've got to know what you're doing. And 4, find a way to start. This is probably the most difficult one. You can start doing side jobs and flipping homes and then just grow it from there. When you're ready to transition, it's fine. You can do it like me, which I wouldn't recommend, and I'm not authorized to give you advice on a YouTube channel legally, so disclaimer, don't listen to this. I'm just telling you, this is what I did. I took the retirement money that I accrued from Hensel Phelps and used that to start the business and bootstrapped it from there, and now we're able to do that. I will say one thing. We were able to partner, or actually I should probably say a developer was wanting to partner with us because of how well they think of us, which gave us the initial relationship and access to capital to start our construction company as, I would say, as fast and large scale as we're going to do it. Right? Also, you can look at venture capital. You can look at getting investors. There's a number of different ways, but my point here is you're going to have to start looking at strategies to get in and to get started, especially with the work that you want to focus on. A lot of companies take quite a few years to ramp up to the larger projects unless you find some specific strategy to give you that jump start. So there is a general timeline. And actually, it's probably more of a list of steps that I want to talk to you about right now as a general framework, and then I'm going to comment as we go, and we're going to have some fun together. And then I'll tell you my experience, which, oh my gosh, it was just so fantastic. So step number 1, form a business plan. There's a book that I really liked. It was called Business Model Canvas. Highly visual book. It wasn't boring. It didn't tell you to write a boring business plan, but it enabled you to really see what your plan is and is there a market for it, and can you connect with your clients and sell work. And a business plan enables you to get loans from the bank. It enables you to get venture capital. It enables you to really implement at a high level. And if you ever get any help from consultants, they'll want to look at your business plan as well. So step number 1, start with a business plan. Step number 2, and I love this, register your business. Now, I will say you've got to come up with a good name. Let me tell you a little bit of a story. So Kevin and I, most people don't know this, but Kate prompted me to start our business and started buying Tony Robbins events and training suites, like training courses, and then also asked me to start a podcast and started the book. So she started it. Kevin got everything organized early on. And one of the things that he and I was discussing early on was our name. So I was like, something around excellence, Excel, but we want to give insight solutions. I was like, what if we name our company XLINS or something like that? And I literally showed that to Kate, and she was like, really? You can't do anything better than that? I'm like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, pray about it, universe it, meditate, like do something, go find a better name. So I did that. And whatever you believe in is totally fine with me, whether it's prayer or information or intelligence or just being present. I don't know, but the information came to me from somewhere, and the answer was, the name of your company has got to tell people immediately what you do. And so Kate was like, well, what do you do? We elevate construction. Oh my gosh, that's such a good name. So we came up with Elevate Construction. Another really close friend and a strategic partnership we have is Brian Melcher with Field Verified. Field Verified was one of those names. It was amazing. He was able to get the domain for it and the whole nine. It says exactly what he does. He verifies quality in the field, specifically with systems, exterior envelope systems on the construction project. It's absolutely phenomenal. Choose your name wisely. It will have a large impact on whether or not you're successful. And then obviously register that business and get those domains. Number 3, get the necessary licensing and permits. I have a video on this channel talking to you about how to get the right license, so we'll add that in the description below. Number 4, get any insurance and bonding. Bonding may not be a thing for you, but definitely insurance. Get a good broker. You might need builder's risk, you might need general liability. We have professional liability as consultants, right? But always keep those policies current, unless obviously you have the cash to pay for something if it went wrong. But I'm kind of like Garrett Gunderson in his book, Killing Sacred Cows. I believe in having insurance. 5, set up your finances. This is huge. If I had to do it all over again, and I know you're going to hate me for this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So like and subscribe to the video now, if you don't mind, before I tell you this. And this is not official financial advice. I'm not licensed to do that. But in that book, Killing Sacred Cows and What Would the Rockefellers Do, Garrett Gunderson talks about cash flow insurance. And what he says is, and this is not a popular opinion, but early on, start a whole life insurance policy, start feeding into that policy. When you die, your spouse or your family get millions of dollars, obviously. But then when you need cash, you can borrow against what you've put into that life insurance policy without interest. And if you never pay it back, it just gets deducted from the initial or from the end payout when you die. So it's absolutely amazing. The idea is to put it back in, but that's called cash flow insurance. For me, in our business, twice I had to, because I didn't have the credit to get big banks to invest in me, twice I had PayPal loans for the business up to the tune of $250,000 just to start our little consulting business. So make sure that you get your finances in order. You need a great accountant. Yes, you need a good financial advisor, and you need to make sure you have a plan for your cash flow. I'm going to go a little bit quick now because those are the biggest steps, but you will then want to purchase your equipment and tools that you can afford. Build your team. This is huge, and I talk about this in the steps in the podcast for how to start your business, which I'll link to in the description below. Develop a marketing strategy, which is huge. Do not underestimate the difficulty in sales and marketing. And I highly recommend purchasing the book, They Ask You Answer, to really get the ins and outs on this. Establish operational procedures. This is huge because if you don't have procedures, you can't train on them and hold people accountable. Launch your business and then follow up. The key is you've got to have a visionary and an integrator. You've got to have a great leadership team. You've got to know how you want to do business, train on it, and hold people accountable, and have all of the supportive systems. And I always say, great insurance broker, great accountant, great financial advisor, great lawyer, all with construction experience. So this is how you get started. There's more information to it, and in the description below, I will give you a link to the podcast that takes you through the rest of the steps for starting your business. but it's fun, it's exciting, it's engaging. You've got to know what you're doing. I'm going to give you in the description below a link to a Canva graphic that outlines this that I really hope you enjoy. But if you ever need help, let us know, put us in. We're here for you, and I really hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.